Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Salatu wa salamu ala Rasulih al-Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallama tasliman kathira. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Thumma amma ba'd. We're continuing bi'ithnillah, by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with our class in the famous book by Imam Muwaffiq ad-Din Abdul Ghani ibn Abdul Wahid al-Maqdisi, وهو Ummdatul-ahkam. Ummdatul-ahkam, naam, the book Umdah, which means the foundations, the pillars, and ahkam, that which is from the religion as it relates to how things should be applied and the rulings that things take. And we mentioned that the Shaykh, he made this book which is based upon some of the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. Some of the hadith in the Bukhari or Muslim, meaning the Shaykh did not take every single hadith. For example, kitab-ut-taharah, kitab-ut-taharah, the book of purification. So the Shaykh didn't take every single hadith that you find in Bukhari and Muslim and the book of Tahara. Rather, he took that which is relevant to the topic and those other narrations that he didn't need to teach the ahkam, the issue of the particular part of the religion that he's going to explain. Then he didn't bring those ahadith. He only brought that which would suffice for the matter. And we mentioned that the Shaykh, he brought the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim because, as the ulama have agreed, past and present, of Ahlul Sunnah, these are the two books, the two Sahih of Imam al-Bukhari and the Sahih of Imam Muslim. They are asah, hadain asah kutub, aw yani kitabaini ba'da kitabillah. They are the most reliable books on the face of the earth after the book of Allah. Why is this the case? Because the conditions that they set were the most, if we would like to say, strict in guidelines for accepting hadith. For example, if you were to take Abi Dawood, which they're all contemporaries and ulama of the Sunnah. Abi Dawood has hadith in it that he himself, after he quotes the hadith, he may say, لا أصل له في الباب، لا أصل له في الباب، أو لا يثبت يعني بشيء في هذا الباب, which means that this hadith has no origin in the religion. This hadith has no origin in the religion, meaning it cannot be verified that the Prophet said this statement or did this action. Or he would say that this is not authentic, so it cannot be used in this chapter or in this perspective or for the thing that someone would use it for. So this in itself shows that the Imam Bukhari and Muslim have the most reliable as it relates to hadith, because you will not find the likes of those statements by them themselves who collected those hadith, like the example that we gave for Imam Abi Dawood. وهكذا Imam at-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, Imam at-Tirmidhi, which he is known to be Abu Isa, kunyatuhu Abu Isa, naam, his nickname is Abu Isa. And Imam at-Tirmidhi likewise, he has hadith in his collection where he has said لم يثبت في هذه باب أو لا أصل له يعني من هذا وجه, which means that it cannot really be authenticated or verified that the Prophet said or did although he collected that hadith, although he heard the hadith from one or more of his teachers and he collected it, it cannot be verified, as the system of verification is from the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, where he said, "Hadithu anni walau ayah." Hadithu anni walau ayah. Hadithu, narrate, convey. Anni, from me, walau ayah, even if it be ayah. Now the ulama, they explain ayah here means a piece of information. Doesn't necessarily mean like the ayat, we say this is the ayat in the Quran. Because ayat is mean a piece of information. So when we talk about the Quran, we're talking about what Allah sent down is a piece of information. When we're talking about, in general, in anything that represents Islam in its true fashion, it could be an ayah, such as the adhan. The ulama mentioned it's an ayah. It's a sign that Allah Azza wa Jal, He's true, and His books are true, and His messengers are true, and on and on. When you see the masajid, it's an ayah. They say it's an ayah, a proof that Allah's religion, Allah's existence, His messengers, His books, His angels are true. When you see Barakallahu fikum al-lihya, the beard, which is part of rajula, manhood, وَمِن سُنَّةِ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ وَالْمُرْسَلِينَ, and from the ways of all of the prophets and messengers. They didn't trim and shave the beard, contrary to popular belief. No, they didn't do that. فهو آية, so it is an ayah. وهكذا بارك الله فيكم جلباب المرأة وحجاب يعني الصالحين, the covering of the righteous lady, the concept of veiling the beauty. This is the ayah. So ayah here is general when we talk about things that represent Islam. Therefore the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ballighu anni walau ayah," convey from me even if it be a single piece of information, a single statement. And then the Prophet, he said, وَحَدِّثُوا عَنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل وَلَا حَرَجْ. وَحَدِّثُوا عَنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل وَلَا حَرَجْ. And you can convey the stories about the people of the book. But this statement of the Prophet is talking about what comes from the angel Jibreel to him, alayhi salam. That which has been verified from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sending down the stories about the past nations. As Allah, He said, "Inna hadha qasasul haqq." This is a true story. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned, ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ. Yani, this is from the stories that we have conveyed from the prior prophets and messengers. مَا يُثَبِّتْ بِهِ فَوَادِكَ. That we have revealed to you, Muhammad, that it may strengthen your mission, that it may make you strong at heart and make strong in iman. So this yani, is an issue of Bani Israel, meaning the people of the book. So the Prophet said, وَحَدِّثُ عَنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَلَا حَرَجْ. You can narrate on the people, narrate about the people, talk about the stories of the people of the past nations, there's no problem. But these are the ones that the Prophet himself have received. That which comes from the people of the book themselves, other than what Jibreel has sent, other than what Allah had sent to him, or that He has informed Jibreel to tell the Prophet, then those are not in this category. Because some of the stories, some of the narrations of the Bani Israel, they are considered dakhil. Dakhil. And dakhil is a technical term that they use in the science of Quran, when they teach you the different knowledge about the Quran, which Imam al-Suyuti said, يعني ماذا علوم القرآن ماذا أكثر من 70 علوم. That there's more than 70 different types of knowledge, 70 different branches of knowledge that comes from the Quran. So when you talk about the different things that you learn from the Quran, the different sciences, one of them is the issue of dakhil, meaning that which the people of the book told about stories and things concerning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the past nations that are lies, that have no basis, that we cannot use. So those are not included in the statement of the Prophet, وَحَدِّثُ عَنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَلَا حَرَجْ. He's talking about what Quran verifies, meaning what Allah sent down in the Quran. Then if they say the same thing, we can take that because we have a verification, as that's the job of the speech of Allah. The reason Allah sent the speech about those prior nations, one of them is to verify, muhaymina, to be a judge between what they say that's wrong and what they say that's right. So he said, going back to the issue of authentic and not authentic, talking about Abi Dawood, how he himself collects some hadith, and he mentions that this hadith has no basis. It's collected, but you can't use it. And Imam at-Tirmidhi is saying the same thing. The basis of this is the statement of the Prophet, where he said, ماذا بلغوا عني ولو I, say, convey, spread, preach for me that which you hear about me, meaning that's confirmed that I said it, even if it be one piece of information. وَحَدِّثُ عَنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَلَا حَرَجْ, and narrate from the people of the book, there's no sin, meaning the stories that have been verified about them and from them, and not that which has been fabricated. حَدِّثُ عَنِّي, narrate on me, the Prophet said, وَلَا تَكْذِبُ عَلَيَّ, and do not lie upon me. This part, and do not lie upon me, is the part where you see that Imam al-Bukhari and Muslim, they took special care. They set real strong shurut, which we say conditions, for accepting the hadith. And this is why they have the two strongest books. They are the strongest, most reliable books on the face of the earth after the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they set the strongest conditions for accepting a narration that has been narrated by or concerning from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we have mentioned this is what Ummdatul is, and where Imam al-Maqdisi gathered only from them, and he did it تقصيرا باختصار تقصيرا. He did a summarized version. He did not take every hadith from Bukhari and Muslim and every chapter that he wanted to teach. He only took what he needed, what was suitable. This book has been taught for many years, and many ulama have explained it, such as Imam al-Bassam from Ali Bassam. He's famous for Taysir Alam, Ummdatul, which he brings the statements of the four madhahib and the most predominantly found statement by the scholars. He brings the consensus. He brings the different meanings of the hadith that a person may not understand because it's technical, which is an explanation of Ummdatul. You have from our time, Imam Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymin rahimahullah, he explained Ummdatul. You had, Barakallahu fikum, some of the shuyukh of Yemen explained Ummdatul. He taught Ummdatul, like Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Adani rahimahullah, who the Al-Qaeda, they say in English, Al-Qaeda, assassinated over a month ago because of his verifying and clarifying to the people their deviation and their evil. So they murdered him, rahimahullah. He himself used to teach this famous book in Damaj during the time of Sheikh Muqbil, and after the death of Sheikh Muqbil, many people explain and have taught this book. And Sheikh Al-Rahman al-Maysan, a Yemeni from Hamtramck, Detroit, he has taught it. Sheikh Abdul Mohsin al-Bad, his teacher from the Prophet's Masjid, one of the oldest muhaddithin, scholars of hadith of Medina, he's taught it. Many people have taught this great book, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with the study of this book and to write for us a good deed. Ameen. The last hadith we took is the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, where he mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِذَا تَوَضَّأَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ. If any one of you make ablution, wudu, إِذَا تَوَضَّأَ أَحَدُكُمْ, نعم, any one of you make wudu, فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ, then let him put water in his nose. And we mentioned that there's a difference of opinion about this. From the scholars of the past, they differ. What does this mean? The Ahnaf, which means plural for Hanafi, Ahnaf, the Hanafis, they say that this is recommended, only to put water in the nose. وذهب إمام مالك وكذلك الإمام أحمد المالكية والأحنبلي إلى أنه وجوب. And the Maliki scholars, along with their teacher Imam Malik, and the Hanbalis, along with their teacher Imam Ahmed, they view it to be an obligation, because the Prophet said, فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ. The fal here and the statement means, in Arabic, do it. فَلْيَسْجُدْ, that means prostrate, from the word sajda. فَلْيَرْكَعْ, this means from the word raka'a, to make sujood. فَلْيَجْلِسْ, from the word jalasa, to sit. فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ, and here the obligation to put water, to enter water to the nose. كما قال سبحانه وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم. نعم. والوجوه يتضمن الأنف والأنف يعني من الوجه. So here Allah said, all you who believe, when you stand to pray prior to that, فَاغْسِلُوا وَجُوهَكُمْ, make sure you wash your faces. Then part of the face is the nose. So if Sallam said, فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ, let him enter water in the nose. The rest of the hadith of Sallam, he said, مَاذَا وَإِذَا فَمَنْ اسْتَجْمَرْ فَلْيُوتِرْ. نعم. فَمَنْ اسْتَجْمَرْ فَلْيُوتِرْ. The word istijmar, we mentioned this before, does not just mean when you have to defecate. Sometimes it carries the meaning of cleaning after defecation, but other than water. And sometimes the word istijmar means cleaning with water. And we mentioned the statement of Imam al-Bukhari when he talked about bab istinja, or qala bab istijmar, the chapter of istijmar, or bab istinja. He used them interchangeably. And the hadith the Prophet was talking about istinja and istijmar. He was talking about them both. And one particular narration, he said istijmar, and he ordered the person to bring him al-hajr al-saghir, a small pebble. In another narration, it was used to talk about with water. And Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, in his explanation of this hadith, which is the author of Fath al-Bari, who explains the Sahih of Imam Bukhari, he said this means, istijmar here means istinja'u, to clean with water. So here the Prophet, when he said, فَمَنْ اسْتَجْمَرْ فَلْيُوتِرْ, it includes cleaning with water. Whoever needs to clean, in other words, let him clean once. And many of the scholars say this means to clean at least once. But it doesn't mean to clean only once, because you have the hadith of Salman al-Farisi in Muslim, where the Prophet said thalatha, to clean 3 times. So many of the scholars, they take the position to clean once is the minimum, of course, which is the obligation, and to clean more than that is recommended. 3, 5, 7, etc. Then the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned, ماذا فإذا استيقظ أحدكم من النوم, and if any one of you wake up from sleep. And all of this is one hadith. All of this is one hadith. And if any one of you wake up from sleep, if any one of you wake up from sleep, can the listeners hear me? I lost the call. I have to call back in. The listeners are live. Is my voice clear, or am I going in and out? Assalamu alaikum. Huh? Say it again. I'm going in and out. Hello? Yes, wa salam. Okay, all right, I'm going to change my position now. Just hold on. Inshallah. Inshallah. Come on. Okay. I'm changing positions now, inshallah. Hold tight. I'm going to the library, yes.
Okay, hold on a second. Right, I'm right here. You coming in here?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. I got you,
I can't get a good reception there. Students can't hear.
Hold on, stay right there.
Okay.
Okay, come on. Now, where is it at?
That's now here past this refrigerator.
Okay. How you doing, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing all right. A little bit past? Okay, so come on. We're going to pass
This first door here.
Okay, I got you. Right here.
Oh,
Hold on. Yeah, it's open, Sheikh.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair.
You want to sit down?
Yeah, I got to hit the light here.
Hold on, I got you. Hold on.
Okay.
You want to sit in this
This
comfortable
first
right
chair
here?
here.
This
This
grown-
first one here.
Okay, come on.
How's my voice now? Is it clear?
It's very clear. Very clear, right here.
Jazakallah khair. Where's the table at?
Oh, you want to sit at the
The
table?
table, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The first chair here on the right.
Okay. Hold
Okay.
on. I got you. I'm right here.
Mhm. Yeah, right here. That should be good.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that one. Okay.
Barakallah. I should be clear now.
Yeah.
Tayyib. Barakallah feek. Salam alaikum.
Hold on. Let me pull out. It's in front of you. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
No, it's right here in front of you.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Jazakallah khair. Allah bless you.
Yeah.
Salam alaikum. Okay. My voice should be clearer now. Is my voice clear now? On the phone lines? Barakallah feekum. Jazakallah khair. Yes. Wa Now, so we were talking about the hadith Abu Hurairah where the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِذَا يَتَوَضَّى أَحَدُكُمْ إِذَا يَتَوَضَّى أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ. The word فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ, we said it is a command in the Arabic language. The fal in the word فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ, the word is istinshaq, the act of putting water in the nose. The Prophet said فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ. So the fal shows the obligation. Just like the Prophet he said فَلْيَجْلِسْ, from the word jalasa, to sit. Fal, it means to sit. فَلْيَشْجُدْ from the word فَلْيَشْجُدْ from the word sajda, to prostrate. So the fal here is indicative of a command. And that's why you have many of the scholars from the Maliki Madhab and Imam Malik at the top of them, and Imam Ahmed and the Hanbali students of his, they said it's an obligation to put water in the nose from the likes of this hadith. And Allah Himself in Surah Al-Ma'idah, where He said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, إِذَا كُمْتُمْ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ فَاغْسِلُوا وَجُوهَكُمْ فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. Here فَاغْسِلُوا is you all wash. وَجُوهَكُمْ, your faces. So the nose is part of the face, they mentioned, and this is why the Prophet said, فَلْيَسْتَنْشِقْ, to put water in the nose. In the Prophet ﷺ, he said, فَمَنْ اسْتَجْمَرُ فَلْيُوتِرْ فَمَنْ اسْتَجْمَرُ فَلْيُوتِرْ. The word istijmar, we normally see it and understand it to mean cleaning after defecation. But Imam Bukhari, he brings in his Sahih a narration where he entitles the chapter Bab Istinja, which we normally know the word istinja to be used for water and istijmar to be used for no cleaning with water. But here they're interchangeable. The scholars, they mentioned that istijmar means cleaning with or without water. So whenever you hear someone use istijmar, don't think they only mean, for example, cleaning with toilet tissue that we use today, which is okay from qiyas, from deducing the object was to clean without water after defecation, so therefore anything that serves that purpose becomes allowed by the Sharia. Don't think that this is what it's referring to absolutely. Sometimes the word istijmar means istinja, which means to clean, whether it's with water or without water. So Prophet ﷺ said, فَمَنْ اسْتَجْمَرَ فَلْيُوتِرْ, from the word watr or witr, means one. Sometimes, barakallahu fikum, witr also means odd. That's why when you talk about the salatul witr, you can pray 3, you can pray 5, you can pray 7. So the Prophet said, whoever wants to clean himself with or without water, the meaning here, using the word istijmar, falyutir, let him do odd numbers. So, because of this statement, many of the people of the past, they have said that once is the minimum. Of course, you can't do less than one. Anything less than one means not cleaning. So the Prophet said, falyutir, to emphasize, at least clean yourself once, with water or without water, when you go to the bathroom. And many also show in their explanation, such as Imam Malik or Imam al-Shafi'i or Imam Ahmed also, and their students, that it's not restricted to just one, because the Prophet said to clean once or clean with an odd number, and the least number of odd is one, but it shows the level of cleaning, the minimum being once and no max being the limit, as the hadith of Salman al-Farisi in Sahih Muslim. The hadith of Salman al-Farisi in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet said 3 times. So whenever you find the Prophet using different numbers, this is showing that flexibility and the cleaning that has a minimum, or no limit, or has a minimum and a maximum. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَإِذَا اسْتَيْقَظَ أَحَدُكُمْ مِنَ النَّوْمِ, and if any one of you wake up from sleep, فَلْيَغْتَسِلْ يَدَيْهِ ثَلَاثًا, then let him wash his hands 3 times. قَبَلَ دُخُولِ فِي الْإِنَاءِ, before he sticks his hand in the basin. So here we understand that they didn't have like faucets and running water back then. Everything was in a gathered fashion. So the water for ablution and the water for istinja was in a container. You had to take it out of the container. So here the Prophet is saying when any one of you wake up from sleeping, let him not stick his hands in the body of water that someone else is going to use after him. Let him not stick his hand in the body of water that even himself he has to use. Why? Because there's the contamination issue here. Rather, the Prophet said, let him wash his hands 3 times before he sticks his hand in the body of water to make wudu. So that means he's going to take something to scoop the water out, wash his hands 3 times. 3 times being the emphasis on making sure that it's washed very good. As the Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ is to make wudu once, twice, or 3 times. And many of the scholars say once is the maximum. Once is the obligation. Once is the obligation. Meaning you can't wash less than once. So the whole issue of washing, you have to at least do it once. But if to do it twice, or you do it 3 times, then this makes for complete washing. And this is why Imam al-Bukhari, he has in his Sahih, Bab al-Wudu Marratayn, the chapter of wudu twice, and then he said twice. Or Bab al-Wudu Thalatha, the chapter of wudu 3 times. So what does this mean? The chapter of wudu, the washing in wudu twice and twice mean 4 times? Or the chapter of wudu, or the washing in wudu 3 times mean 3 times 2, 6? No. The duplication in number is for emphasizing. Like the Arabs, they say in the science of Nahu, which is this particular part of the Arabic language, when you talk about emphasizing and speaking, you have ja'a, like we have idha ja'a anasrullahi wal fath, idha ja'a, when comes. So here, ja'a is a past tense verb. If you want to say someone came, you say ja'a. So here, if you mention ja'a, which is a past tense verb, then someone has to do the action in order for it to be a complete sentence. So if you say ja'a Muhammadun, ja'a is a past tense verb, meaning he already arrived, he came from somewhere. Muhammadun is the fa'il, he's the one who did the ja'a, the coming. But the Arabs, they say also ja'a Muhammadun. Why do they say ja'a Muhammadun? To emphasize like Muhammad really came. So likewise, Imam Bukhari, when he says Bab al-Wudu Marratayn, he's not saying the chapter of wudu washed 2 times and then another 2 times equals 4. No, because we have no text that you wash 4 times. When he says Bab al-Wudu Thalatha, the chapter of washing in wudu 3 times, not saying 6, he's saying twice to emphasize the washing twice. He's saying 3 times to emphasize the washing 3 times, because the 3 times is the max, and the 3 times is what the Prophet meant when he said isbaghu wudu. To make a perfect or a complete wudu means to wash 3 times. This way you know you didn't miss any spots, more than likely, if you wash wudu or you make wudu properly. So the issue here, the end of the hadith, the Prophet said, if any one of you awake from your sleep, let him not stick his hands in the basin. Rather, let him wash his hands 3 times before he sticks his hand in the whole body of water. And this also applies to today. We have running faucet, but still, the end of the hadith shows why the Prophet said that. He said, لأن أحدكم لا يدري أين باتت يده, because none of you know where he put his hands while he was sleeping. So if a person's sleeping, wallahi, you don't know what he's doing to sleep all the time. Maybe he dug in his nose. Will anyone want to make wudu and wipe his face with something from his nose? No. As you have to put water in the nose, put water in the mouth, you have to wipe the face. The same thing, sometimes we scratch in our sleep. The leg, between the legs, the private. A person doesn't know. Therefore the Prophet, he said, because of this lack of not knowing, let him wash his hands 3 times before he sticks his hand in the body of water for wudu. And this includes with running water. Wash your hands 3 times before you actually start the act of wudu, because none of you know where the hands were while he was sleeping. That was the last hadith we took in the Ummdatul. The hadith al-Rabi' an Abi Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم لا يبولن أحدكم ثم يغتسل لا يبولن أحدكم في ماذا في الماء راكد ثم يغتسل. وفي رواية لا يبولن أحدكم ثم يغتسل. The Prophet ﷺ, this hadith begins again with a lamb that is debatable. Some say this lamb in the Arabic language is showing a dislike. Others say this lamb in the Arabic language is showing prohibition. As the Prophet ﷺ saying not to do something, the language itself could mean don't do it because it's not the best thing to do. Or it could mean don't do it because it's not good to do at all. So if it's not the best thing to do, then it could be understood as makruh, not liked. But if you do it, there's no sin on you. Then it could also be understood as don't do it at all because it's not good at all, meaning prohibition. So Prophet ﷺ said, La yubalanna ahadukum. The lam and the noon in bold. The word bold means urine. Bold. The Prophet said, La yubalanna. And then he said, ahadukum, which is plurality. This lam, noon, and the phrase ahadukum shows emphasis. And the Prophet normally, when he emphasized something like this is a sign in the science of fiqh, understanding the religion, understanding the verdicts, and usul fiqh, the things that you use to understand the religion. These are normally signs that there's a prohibition. The fact that the Prophet used the lamb, and then he emphasized with a noon, like in the word la yabulanna, where the word is bold, it has no noon. The noon is added to complement the lamb, which is showing emphasis on not doing something. Like Prophet ﷺ, he said, La tashrabanna ahadukum. The word tashraba has no noon, which means to drink, for you to drink. But in the hadith of Muslim, Prophet said, La tashrabanna. He added the noon. Why? Because the noon with the lamb before it is a strong, strong language. And it emphasizes the need to stay away from a thing. And the Prophet also said in that hadith, ahadukum, which is plurality, followed by the lamb and the noon, which shows another point of emphasis. Normally the scholars say this shows that it is prohibited and not disliked. Prophet said, La yuballanna ahadukum thumma yaktasil fil ma'i thumma yaktasil. He said, do not let any one of you urinate in some water and then he bathe in it. والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال كذلك يعني ماذا لا يبولن أحدكم في الماء يعني ناجس. Do not let any one of you bathe urine or لا يكتس أحدكم في الماء ناجس. Do not let any one of you bathe in water that's najis. So here when they talk about this issue, the reason that this hadith, Imam al-Maqdisi mentioned, that he brought this hadith, and Imam Bukhari brought this hadith right after the whole issue of wudu, and istinja or stijmar, whichever the words, cleaning with water, without water, and washing the hands 3 times before you make wudu. The reason he brought this hadith afterwards because it's connected to the issue of washing with water that is defiled, washing with water that is not suitable for the issue of purification because of the harms that the water carries because of impurities. This is why this hadith came right after the other hadith about the washing of the hands 3 times before sticking your hand in the vessel or before making wudu. And this is talking about when you're in the tub. As the Prophet ﷺ would take a bath with Maymuna. And this is a sunnah, we understand, fi'liya, action the Prophet ﷺ used to do. So no one can say, oh, how can you bathe in the same water as your husband? Or that water's dirty. Oh, look at that ring around the tub. You know, how could you be in purity? And you bathed in water, it wasn't clean. The Prophet ﷺ bathed in the same water with Maymuna. And this was after janaba, which means having relations. From this, the ulama, they mention, this is a proof that the fluids from the man and the woman, because of intercourse, is not najis. Because if so, the Prophet would not have been able to bathe in that water with a mate, and they had this on them, which ultimately will be in the water. And we understand the part about making wudu. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned washing here, and water in another narration, the water that's they call it in English stagnated. Al-ma la yajri, ma rakit ay al-ma'u la yajri. Ulama yaquluna al-ma la yajri. They said this means water that's not moving, but this is to complete your wudu. The water should be moving, and this is why the Prophet would get out of the tub and wash his feet after he made ghusl and made wudu in the bath water, because to complete the wudu, the water should be moving. But to wash in water that has urine in it, then this is clearly washing in water that's najis, because everyone agrees that the bawl, the urine, is najis. It's a type of impurity, and it brings sicknesses and bacteria and so forth. That's why you have to let it out of the body. It's not good for you. Yeah, there's a big argument about this, as some of the madhahib, they seen the issue of the amount of najasa versus the amount of water making the issue. Some of them said if the water is more than the impurity, the water in this case more than the urine, and the water is not flowing, then it's disliked. But if the urine is more than the water, and the water is not flowing, then it becomes prohibited. And this is because the issue of understanding what this law and the statement of the Prophet really carries, a meaning of not doing at all or not doing with caution. And most of the scholars debate the issue as it relates to how much impurity versus water and like this. Amma al-bahriya, as far as the water in the sea, then none of them argue the fact that if a person was to urine in seawater, it doesn't make a difference, because the Prophet ﷺ, he said al-bahru tahur wa maytatahu, that the water of the sea is pure, and even that which dies in it. So normally something that's dead, it's prohibited for you to partake in that thing if it just died. But if it dies in the water, many of the scholars say because of this statement of the Prophet, which is authentic hadith, then you can eat that which died in the water, because the water purifies everything. But we're talking about the water in a vessel, the water in a tub, and then this is different. This is not the water of the sea. The amount of water obviously is not going to be that vast that no matter how much impurities reach the water will stay pure. This is not the case when you talk about a tub or a shower, or a pail, or like this. So here we learn from the statement of the Prophet ﷺ